have a budget specifically crafted for Port Loyola. He prepared it in a motion form, and it was presented to the clerk, and it was agreed that it be placed on the orders of the day. And it was indeed placed on the orders of the day, but the motion, while it was debated, was ruled out of order, and for apparent obvious reasons, because it was a money motion, and any money matter going to the House has to first gain the assent of cabinet. So it was on that basis that that motion was, it was a clear violation of the standing orders and the laws of the country, that any matter relating to money, government allocation, must be first approved by cabinet.
Now, there are a couple of things sticking out at this point, and I want to touch firstly on the procedural issue. While I understand, and the examples that you use I think are valid, at the same time, if we're talking about accountability and transparency, procedures are put in place so that those who have the ability to be able to find the shortcuts don't use them. How do you justify making a decision, requesting from the Prime Minister to overlook certain things when you are saying this is for or to suit the very same reason?
But we're not asking him to overlook certain things. You have to understand how the Prime Minister operates in the House of Representatives. He is the prosecutor, he is the defense attorney, and he is the judge. So we're not asking him to do anything illegal. We're asking him to do the right thing. And Conrad can show you in the past where the Prime Minister is the person that does not follow the rules of the House of Representatives more than any other representative in the history of this country. And he mentioned on television that it is majority rules. I think it was on your news. We are not, the Public Accounts Committee does not set policy, We don't decide who gets the money or where the money goes or what amount of money is allocated. That is Cabinet's role. That's the executive's role. The legislator is bound to create checks and balances, and that is what we want. So we are not here to say majority rules and we decide. No. After you have made your decision as to where it goes, it is the right of the Belizean people to know. You know why? Because it is your money, and my money that is being spent. It is your GST. It is your taxes that they are. It is not their money, and that is where we are failing to understand. Marlene, if you are spending your salary, you have all the right to do what you want with it, how you want with it. But if you are spending the people's money, you have to report to them. So what we are saying is, let us do it right. Let us have scrutiny. You cannot have a minister of lands, for example, given the responsibility to check if he is doing the job right in the Ministry of Lands. You cannot have the Minister of Health doing an analysis on himself to see if the 13 babies that died was their fault or somebody else's fault. You're putting yourself into a situation that has no meaningful end.
But the way it was written in the beginning in 1981 does not speak to the integrity of the office that you hold, that you are placed in a position of trust by the public, that you are to police these things and to make sure that you act in public good.
Precisely.
So is that then saying that you're changing that scope? And how do you go about changing that to say that your office and the integrity that it holds, because that's what the public does.
Yeah, but
it places trust in all elected officials, that they will do what is right and just and serve and best serves the public.
Sometimes it's best to ask a question to answer a question. Do you have trust in the way your leaders have been spending the Belizean people's money? Do you have trust in it?
Well, I don't know if I will answer that question directly, because at the end of the day, I guess the general feeling of the population is we do want increased accountability.
Yes.
We do want all of those things.
Yes.
How do we get it? Is perhaps
By
the way.
taking it out of the hands of the politicians.
But if it becomes a political football,
That's why.
It has
if it
always
be-
been.
and it because that's the way it has always been. While we talk about reform, very often reform is not necessarily pushed by any party in government. It's kind of pushed by
The non-state actors.
Yeah.
right. And
You see, the problem is that politicians in the past have not have the interest to push it, because you're in opposition. They tell you, sit back in your chair, enjoy the ride. 5 years, 6 months before election, when it comes again, then you rise up and start doing political. I have the opinion, because I come from the
I was
business
just going to
community.
say, if you have others, I'm sure you have people who have a different opinion
Yes,
on
I
on
have
the
a
role
different
of the opposition
opinion.
and those. But I think William is touching on a very good point, and it was one of the first questions I asked you. Why is it that what is in place doesn't work right now? And in fact, Honorable Espat, you mentioned very early on, talking about the political division that we
Yes,
have,
yes.
the mudslinging that we see, the incapacity or unwillingness to be able to discuss the point or the matter or what is most important, but to more or to engage more in personal attacks. This speaks to a maturity of our political leaders. My question is, given a change of the Public Accounts Committee at this time, what makes you think that the leaders will rise to the occasion, will
Because-
function in a professional manner, and be able to be accountable to the public the way we expect?
Because you're not putting it in their hands. The way the system is set up, there is no majority rule politically. We are proposing 2 members from the opposition, 2 members from the government. That's 4 members. And 3 members from civil society. You're changing and adjusting the system to serve the people of Belize. You're not putting it into political hands. So even if there is no agreement on the political sides, the social partners will overrule. And
My
that
point-
is the key.
My point is, it doesn't matter where the decision lies. The discussion.
It's not a
isn't
matter of
even-
discussion. The Public Accounts Committee is one of the committee that has the most powerful mandate, and Conrad can tell you, we can interview or subpoena even the Prime Minister if the law is followed, if he is failing. And that is why nobody in government wants it to happen, because they don't want you to check on what they're doing wrong. So we are saying, take it away from the opposition. Take it away from the government. Put it into the hands of the people of Belize, so that it works for us. If the people of Belize don't understand that, then we have a serious problem. Belizean culture on a whole, we don't react to anything unless it is close to our heart. Unless somebody is dying from our side, unless we
we
are
react,
affected
but it's
personally.
short-lived.
This is something that affects. You know why I know? I have mothers that come to my office that can't send their children back to school right now. They don't have money to pay for the books. They don't have water. They don't have electricity, the basic services. And then they are asking, where is the money? Prime Minister, where is the money? So this allows us to check the trail of the money to see if it is spent properly.
Let me ask another question. Obviously, when you talk about standing orders and talking about a standing committee and a special select committee, perhaps that's one of the ways that we could tap into your expertise. Would constituting the Public Accounts Committee as proposed by the People's United Party make it into a special select committee as opposed to a standing committee?
Well, the history of a standing committee is primarily to deal with bills, to consider bills. A select committee, on the other hand, is primarily designed to deal with specific matters. The Public Accounts Committee, bills are not referred to the Public Accounts Committee. The Public Accounts Committee is only charged to look at the Auditor General's report, public accounts, and other matters related to the finances of the nation. In other jurisdictions, like Australia, they have their Public Accounts Committee as a select committee. However, there's an argument in relation to should it be a select committee or a standing committee. But if you look in the standing orders, I think 74, they use select committee and standing committee interchangeably. But when you delve deeper into the standing orders, then it starts referring also to a select committee to deal specifically, to inquire into and to consider specific matters. Now, a select committee does not require the House to refer any matter to it. The select committee on its own, by a majority decision of the select committee, can inquire into other matters without it being referred to that committee by the House. So there is a little more latitude in relation to a select committee as opposed to a standing committee. Going back to Marlene's point, which is very, very critical. If you change the composition, you are saying that it might be the same. But you have to look at it from a bigger picture. You have to look at the political culture that prevails. We have a system where loyalty to political party has still not reached a level where you can critically criticize your party, not because you have ill intention, but you want to engender dialogue, debate, and maturity. And the control in the political party is still too tight. And if you don't follow the line, you might be sidelined. And we need to get away from that. But the people of Belize also need to demand of our political leaders to elevate the level of discourse, to elevate how we do things in the best interests of the country. So it is, the responsibility does not lie only with the politician, but it also lies with us, the people of Belize. We need to demand more of our leaders. And if we don't do it, the status quo will perpetuate itself indefinitely.
Well, what we're going to do at this time is very quickly go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation. So stay tuned.
What do you want from your bank?
I want to know that my bank will teach me how to save.
I want to know that my bank can help to make my dream of owning a home a reality.
I want to know that my bank will help me grow my business and build Belize.
I want to know that my bank will keep my investment safe.
Whether you want to start a savings plan, build your own home, invest in your business, or plan for retirement, the Belize Bank is here for you. The Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Ever dreamed of taking a trip to the Big Apple? With Smart and United Airlines, your dreams can come true. Join Smart and United Airlines Big Apple Summer Raffle to get a chance to win a trip for two to New York City. Grand package includes 2 round-trip tickets to New York City, courtesy United Airlines, $1,500 cash prize, a Big Apple night helicopter flight, and tickets to New York-style entertainment. All you have to do is send a text to YOU WIN 8946. So text in over and over, and you just might have that dream come true with Smart's Big Apple Summer Raffle.
Smart, bringing people together.
Breaking news! Everyone is going crazy for your Fanta with this fantabulous offer. Drink Fanta and win! Trade 5 caps of Fanta at any Smart office countrywide and get $5 in credit. Or trade 5 caps of Fanta plus $5 and get one of these fantabulous t-shirts at any Bowen & Bowen sales center or authorized distributor countrywide. Everyone wants your Fanta. More Fanta, less serious. Drink Fanta and win!
We at the Belize Brewing Company have responded to your feedback, and our brewmaster has adjusted the recipe for your summer seasonal beer, Verano. The name is the same, the logo is the same, but the flavor profile is better, bolder, and has more citrus with a hint of spice. Introducing the new taste of Verano. Like we said, say hello to summer.
And welcome to another in the segment, Fun Facts with Familiar Faces. And joining us for this segment, we have Honorable Julius Espat. Thank you very much for joining and agreeing.
Agreeing.
And we're definitely ready to play along. Choose a question, share as much as you want, and
you know, I'll pick a blue question.
A blue. we'll we have to make sure that we'll get you a red question. What word describes you best?
Emotional and aggressive. Two words.
All right. I'm not going to ask why.
Why? I can tell you why. Because when I believe in something, I put in my all. I am aggressive to try to achieve it, and the emotions come out behind the need to make sure that it works. So that's the reality. Right? You want me to go for a red one? I don't see a red one. I'll go for a pink one then.
All right, the closest thing. When was the first Christmas you realized that Santa Claus was not real?
Santa Claus is still real. It is a matter of what you believe. And if you believe Santa Claus is real, then it's always real. I would like all the children of Belize to still believe that Santa Claus is real. Even if it comes from your parents or your uncle or your friends. That's Santa Claus. It is giving that is the important thing. And so it's always there.
All right, I like that.
Next one. All right, next we got independent.
If you could live anywhere in the country, where would it be and why?
Cayo South. One of the most beautiful constituencies in the whole country. The Cayo South constituency includes a large portion of the mountain pine ridge. It includes 100,000 footfalls. It includes the Chiquibull Forest. It includes the Belize River flows through it. You have valleys, you have hills, you have mountains. The most arable land in Belize is in Cayo South. I would think of nowhere else to live but in Cayo South.
And you made that decision because you live
we have a property there that we are developing, and yes, and we invite more people to come to Cayo South and enjoy what country life is all about. Fire hot, my brother.
Fire hot. Well, no arguments here. Best food, best food.
Another one, okay.
If you won the lottery, what is the first thing you would do?
If I won the lottery, the first thing is to make sure that my family is secure. That is important. Secondly, invest it in the poor people of Belize. Because since I've become a politician, I've found out that the needs are large. But invest it in such a way that you're not giving it away. invest it so that you can educate people and train people so that they can eventually make more for themselves. I think that is what is pending in Belize. We need to train our people and give them opportunity to learn. Technology has come such a long way in the world, and if our people don't come up to it, they're at a disadvantage. So that would be my dream, to train the people, educate them so that they can work and be proud to generate money. There's a marked difference, of having a man work and feed his family than having a man go out there and having a politician give him $50 to feed his family. There's a big difference.
True. All right, well, we're smack out our 3 minutes,
All right.
But we learned a bit about you today, so thank you for agreeing again.
It's a pleasure.
All right. We're going to go ahead and join Marlene and Conrad back on the couch, and we'll transition as well. This has been another segment of Fun Facts with Familiar Faces.
And there you had fun facts from Familiar Faces with William and Honorable Julius Espat, finding out a bit more about him behind the scenes. That's a great element to our show. But of course, the topic for today, what we've been discussing is the PUP's proposal to change the Public Accounts Committee, the composition of it, that is. And we know that the Prime Minister has already made a response to it, and we are going to continue this conversation at this time to find out exactly what is being proposed. Now, my question to Conrad, obviously, is looking at what is being proposed at this time. You've mentioned that you've looked at the countries like the US, the UK, the rest of the Caribbean, what format is being used there. Why propose this particular scenario for Belize?
At this present moment, to hold a meeting of the Public Accounts Committee and any other standing committee, you need a quorum of 3. The composition of the committee is 2 members of opposition and 4 members from the governing side. If the 4 members from the government side decide not to attend, you do not have a meeting of the Public Accounts Committee. This proposed motion to amend the standing orders is asking that 2 members of the opposition from the House, 2 members of the government from the House, and 3 other members from the Senate who are the representative of the churches, the representative of the business community, and the representative of the National Trade Union Congress and civil society. Because the quorum requires 3, I don't think it will be difficult with that composition to have a quorum. And for a process to work, the most important thing is to be able to call a meeting and have a meeting. If you cannot call a meeting in the first place, you can do absolutely nothing.
So the committee has not been meeting. It has been meeting. So what would change now with the change in the composition? Do you have your regular meetings, and do you, as it is now, look at the Auditor General's report and function with the general objective that is stated for the committee?
We had a landmark decision in December of last year, whereas we finally agreed after public pressure that the meetings in future be held in public. That was the fight for the first year, and we achieved that. Then the Auditor General, for example, right now is asking for a meeting because we have some concerns out of Australia that they have written to her asking her to sit with the Public Accounts Committee to find out what's happening in our system, why is it not working. We have been trying to get that meeting for the longest, and it hasn't
So is it the same scenario that Conrad has pointed out, where you've called meetings but not been able to get quorum?
No. When we have been able to have the meetings, we have had quorums, but we have not been able to agree on an agenda. And I am saying it is a waste of time. Why come to a meeting to try to figure out and quarrel about agenda so that you can call another meeting? So it is, the system is working in such a way that it makes you not function. They are saying in government that we don't want you to check us. We want to go back and check PUP. We are saying, look at the mandate of the Public Accounts Committee. The mandate of the Public Accounts Committee is to analyze the budget and analyze the Auditor General's report. If they want to go check from 1981, or if they want to check PUP time from 98 to 2000, the Prime Minister has the right to go to the House and request for a special select committee, an audit committee, or a forensic committee to do just that. That is his right if he desires to do so. But he cannot ask the Public Accounts Committee to do that function when it's not in its mandate. And that is what we are saying. Take it out of political hands. Put it into the hands of the people so you can have true accountability. That's all we're asking for, you know. We want to know if the $10 million spent on a bridge, who the contractor was, what was the value, if they finished the bridge, and if you got value for money, meaning you would get professionals coming in to analyze it. If at the end of the day, you find out that only $2 million was spent and it disappeared, then you get serious and you direct the public prosecution to deal what they have to deal with. That is the role of the Public Accounts Committee.
So let me ask another question with regards to the way the committee functions. So where does the money for its investigation come from now? If you are going to examine, and the budget itself is a huge undertaking, so where will the manpower and everything else come from?
That is where the problem lies. Remember, look at the American system. You have the executive,
which is not functioning because you have a divisive.
You have the legislature
section, no?
You have the executive, and you have the judiciary. That is how democracy works. You divide and you separate the tree. In this case, the Auditor General should not be paid by government. She should be working under the umbrella of the Public Accounts Committee. And the Public Accounts Committee funding, which there is none right now, should come from a separate entity, maybe the House Assembly, or maybe even the Governor General. It is the same as in a judiciary where you don't want judges on contract for a year so that political people can manipulate their minds. That is why the system was set up, so that judges be given life tenure, so that they don't feel that they owe anything to the person that gave them the contract. It is the same concept. We in Belize have to start becoming real in the corporate world. If an auditor comes in and refuses to sign the audit paper stating how your finances is being run, it is telling the bankers, it is telling the owners and the stakeholders that there is a serious problem, either corruption or something is wrong. Automatically that sends a signal where the first person they call is the CEO, come in guy. Second person, Chief Financial Officer, come in guy. What is wrong? Why is it that the auditor does not want to put his name on this piece of paper? You understand me? In the corporate world, heads would go. They would fire the CEO and the Chief Financial Officer, or they would have criminal procedures if it gets to that point. There is no difference, in government. The problem is that we feel that politicians are God, or they feel that they are God, and they are not. They are servants of the people. And if we don't get that into our minds and our soul and our heart, they are there to serve us. I am a servant of the people of Cayo South, and that's why it annoys the other side when I tell them that I go there on behalf of the people of Cayo South. I serve them. I am their voice. I need to investigate how they feel and what they are thinking, and I need to represent that for them. We need to go back to the time when George Price took this nation from where it was to independence, when he believed in the people. If we don't do that, we will fail as a nation. We are already failing as a nation. But we have an opportunity. You know why? We only have 350 people in this country. The most beautiful country in the world, in my opinion. Natural resources speaking. But we have to start caring. We have to start looking out for our own self. Or not, we will be bombarded from abroad and we will be taken over and we will be manipulated.
Now, as chairman, sorry.
In response to your question about the budget for the committees, in the allocation for the National Assembly,